Well, I think, you know, to play this game, you have to have a passion for it. It's a difficult game, and you have to be persistent. You have to be passionate about it. Bob and I have those same passions. You know, we have that passion in our skiing. We have it in our elk hunting. And I think we have it in a lot of other factors of our life as well. We started getting to know each other through the ski mountain, and we started talking elk hunting and realized we had those similar passions. Thought, well, we could hook up and do some hunting together, and we've done that, and we've been very successful at it, and we have a lot of fun. And the camaraderie that we have in camp, you know, it's what we love. It's what we wait for every year.
We start thinking about elk hunting pretty much year-round, but once August hits, that is all that is on our mind. From 3D archery shoots to making phone calls to some of our friends that live over in the area, just trying to find out what's going on.
We think about it year-round, but it just comes to a head in August where we just can't think of anything else, and we're just waiting for the 30th so we can get in our trucks and get out there.
This year we scheduled our 10-day hunt to start around September 20th and go through the 30th.
That, we felt, was during the prime of the Montana elk rut, when the bulls would be fired up, looking for cows, and coming into our calls.
I need to rewind a little bit here, back to the first week of August, when my wife was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. It was at that point that I wasn't sure what was going to be happening with our lives and what was going to be happening for September. I kind of put everything on the back burner, and we went through quite a few different tests and stuff at our local hospital, and she was scheduled to have her surgery September 19th. So as far as getting out during that period, it just wasn't going to happen.
My wife and I discussed it, and she told me to go out for at least a few days during the opening.
As she had said, I'll be there taking care of her. She sent me a pretty funny text, which was right when I was leaving town.
The only opportunity that Bob was going to get to hunt, because of the time constraints of what he's going to be going through here in the near future, allowed us to go out in the early part of the season, which was a big change for us. Personally, I've gone through this battle with my first wife. She died of cancer, and knowing the battles that Jane and Bob are getting ready to go through, I wanted to make a commitment to Bob and get him out here and get him away from just waking up every day and going to bed every day thinking about cancer. And I thought coming out to elk camp would be a good break for that.
Greg and I went over the first week of September. I really didn't know what to expect. I know that there's elk in this area and this is where they live year-round, but I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to find or hear, bulls that were bugling and having some sort of an aggressive approach on the rut.
Well, the first morning went excellent. We spotted a bull the night before when we were scouting from afar. And it had about half a dozen cows or so with it. So we slipped in there the next morning. Got right up there right after daylight and just let out a little squeal, and right away got an answer.
With this bull making his way across the hillside, we made our way over to the saddle to set up, and bam! 2 other bulls fired off. He was coming in hot to Greg's calls, but he held up behind some brush about 40 yards out. He finally made his way towards Greg and was slipping by me at about 25 yards, but behind some blowdown.
That was pretty damn close. He was out at about 45 yards, and he was behind some sticks, so I couldn't get a shot. And he went over into an area that I had in range, and there was a bunch of brush there, so anyway, on to the next one.
For the second evening, we went back to the area where we had seen the bull with his cows.
And we looked across on the other ridge, which is probably about 400 yards away. There's a huge bull out there, and I can hear him bugling and another bull behind him bugling. Nothing aggressive, he's just out there milling around feeding.
We slipped across the hillside,
And we get about 150 to 200 yards away from him, and there's some cows out in front of us, probably 50 to 75 yards.
Since we had the cows in between us, we tried some aggressive bugling, hopefully pulling one of these bulls over to keep us from those cows. With it starting to get dark, we pulled out of there before we got busted. Now we have a decent bull on our hit list. We had hunted hard for the last few days and had several encounters, but I needed to get back home tomorrow as my wife Jane needed to go in for some more tests before surgery. We decided to go back up and look for the big bull we had seen on the second night.
We were up early that next morning, hiking those trails to those ridges before daylight.
And we could hear a bull moving his way up from the drainage up to this one ridge. So we do a little bit of setup and some cow calling. Next thing you know, we've got a bull that's coming in, straight on.
You know, I could see that he was getting on point and getting a little tense as I was calling, and all of a sudden I saw him pull up and draw.
And he stops. He's looking straight up at me. Vitals are completely covered. All I can see are his head and his horns.
And then he held it and held it and held it, and I was just waiting for the string to pop off, and it didn't happen.
Something spooked him, and he knew something wasn't right. So he backed up and he went about another 45, 50 yards away from us. So I made a motion for Greg to get on the other side of the ridge so this bull would come up and over this ridge, giving me hopefully a nice broadside shot at about 30 yards in this pretty decent size opening. Can't get it to happen. I end up pulling back on this bull 3 different times in the morning. and it just happens to be that it's the big bull that we saw a few nights before. So we backed out of there, kind of making a call that we're going to come back tonight, but we're going to set up in a different area because we know that they keep playing back and forth between these two ridges. But one of the common denominators, they're always through this bottom.
The difficult part of this hunt is that we knew where he was at, we knew where we left him, and the wind was terrible for us when we got there. I mean, it was absolutely terrible. We were there at 4:30, and we had to absolutely sit down until after 6 o'clock. And it was the most difficult thing to do because we knew that bull was there. The wind switched for us, and when it did, we slipped up there. He started bugling pretty much where we left him.
Well, this bull keeps getting closer and closer.
I figured he was about 200 yards away. Then I got back on the bugle. I started just little squeals, and he got a little bit more aggressive, and as he got more aggressive, I got more aggressive.
It was starting to get pretty dark in the timber, and we had about a half an hour left of shooting light.
I was so far back I couldn't see what was happening, but I could envision in my mind what was happening because he was talking so much that I could tell that he was coming really tight.
Greg starts bugling over this bull's bugle, and this just infuriates this bull, and you can just hear the intensity in his roar when he's coming down this hill. I could see his horns passing through some of the openings in the timber, and I drew back. I followed him for about 5 yards, and then he stopped, and he was looking straight at me. And I thought, not again. I just went through this morning.
Damn it, buddy. Thank you. Good calling. I appreciate all the help all week. Man, I just got him. He just came in, and when I started ripping on him, he freaked out. And I knew, I said, he's got to be right on top of you. I'm telling you, I heard that noise. And I was like, is that a bear? I went, no, that's got to be his dying breaths. I was smiling on ear to ear because I knew that we had succeeded in what our goal was this year, which is to get Bob out there, get cancer off his mind, get a bull down for him. And I was a pretty happy man when I walked up there and saw that thing laying on the ground.
For this to happen, the last half an hour of my hunt, was a blessing. It's like the man up above looked down and said, hey, here's something to make you feel a little bit better about things. Hopefully when this segment appears in the Full Draw Film Festival, what my wife's going through will just be a bad memory.